Hello, my name is Brian with a Y, as no doubt you know. Today, we are going to be taking a look at yet another amazing software project which I have done. I know what you're thinking. He made Hello World. He made a D&D dice rolling program. What will this guy do next? And the answer to that is not dominate the world yet, but instead write a web application using HTML. And instead of node.js, which is what I've done with web apps up to this point, I've used Django or just Django maybe, like the bounty hunter from that one sci-fi series that Disney owns. So, what does this web app do? You can't just say, look, a web app, and it doesn't do anything. Web apps have to do stuff. And I can assure you that this web app does do stuff. Oh boy, does it do stuff. It is incredible. First of all, let me make this a little bit bigger. That's probably better. All right, so what does this web app do exactly? Well, perhaps the best way to explain that is with a quick demonstration. And so, because I don't have enough money to get an actual web server, then we run it on the development server, like so, in the terminal, whatever this thing is called. Django is built off of all these. It has all these Python manage.py commands you can do to do various things that, manage your project. It's a very intricate system. So it's going to run some checks, and then it gives me this server. It says starting development server at HTTP, yada, 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 all this stuff. This is a URL, like the things that you see in your browsers. In fact, if you are to look up, hold on a moment. If you are to look up, like right here in your browser, you will see a URL. And it probably doesn't start with HTTPS, but if you were to click on it, I'm sure it would. That a URL is, I think it's a universal resource locator, maybe. It's essentially it's an address. You've heard of web addresses, that kind of thing. It's telling your computer where to look for this website, and your computer uses this information, and it goes out to the DNS, and it says, "Hey, I'm looking for this website. Where is it?" And then these big computers are like, "Oh, you need to go over to this server at this IP address," and then it goes, "Okay, thanks." Probably doesn't say thanks because computers don't. They should, but they don't. And then it biffs off over to that server and it's like, "Hey, I want this website," and it's like, "Sure." So what I've done here is essentially, or what I haven't done it, the computer did. The computer has started a server, except it lives in my computer, so my computer doesn't have to really go anywhere. It just has to go to this this network port. So here we have the web app. And yes, it does look like a web app made by a 10-year-old in 1980, but that is because I'm doing this mostly about the framework and the interaction with the user and the actual functionality of the web app rather than the looks. I will be coming back here sometime to make this look better. Looks like I can't zoom in. I probably should have written that functionality in there. Oh yeah, I can. There we go. So yeah, because this is a development server only, this is probably the only place where you will see this amazing copy that I wrote in like 20 minutes. So you should definitely pause the video right now and read all of it because it's amazing. But moving lightly on from that, let's see what the thing does. What does it actually do? Well, this web app is used to buy and trade, maybe not trade, buy and sell stocks. And you're asking, doesn't that require like financial APIs and contacting banks and obtaining your social security number? Well, yes, it does. So this web app, money in this web app is just a number. I mean, money is essentially just a number anyway, but here it's really just a number. It's just a number that I arbitrarily set to 50. And what this number does is, well, it just goes up and down when you do stuff. But how this works is I can enter the symbol of a stock. Let's say I would say give me a stock, but you can't, obviously. I'll leave a comment knowing which stock I should buy. So let's say I wanted to invest in Uber. So I would write Uber here and click search for stock. And then it does something called an API. I think it stands for Application Programming Interface. An API is essentially something that allows two pieces of code to talk to each other without knowing what the other thing does. So I have no idea how the computer at the other end of this API is figuring out what the stock price of Uber is. I have no idea. But fortunately, I don't need to know because of APIs. But yeah, I searched for Uber and I got most recent, or current, or yesterday's closing, Uber stock price $24.71. And if we go on to a website that will tell us what the stocks are, we can see that the price is in fact $24.71. That's pretty awesome. Now, this is a little bit biased in the sense that this is after closing time for the stock trading, and while stocks can be traded after closing time, there isn't much going on. And so this API is way more accurate after closing time. This is an API I am using for free, so obviously it's not going to be like up to the microsecond accuracy. It's like a couple minutes behind the actual stock price, I think. But I mean, that's not going to be a huge deal, right? Of course. So anyway, cool, I can see what the stock price is. You can do that through Google or a Yahoo or literally any search engine. But the cool part is you can click this purchase button. If you click this purchase button, boop, the website changes. But that is not all that it does. Look, if you take a look at my current balance, it has changed to a number which is equal to 50 minus the Uber stock price. And now I can click this link at the bottom to view my vast riches of one stock. And then with this one stock, there's this button, sell. So I can sell this stock, boop, and it does some API to figure out what price I should be selling it for. And in this case, it just brought me right back up to 50 because the Uber stock price has not changed in the past, 90 seconds? So yeah, I can click to buy more stocks. And let's say I want to invest in Tesla stock. Search it up. Current Tesla price is $204.99. I can purchase that. Now I have negative money. That's how you can tell it's not real money. I didn't have to take out a loan or anything. And then I can view my vast riches and sell it. Ba-ding! $50 back again. And so how this isn't very impressive just because the stock prices aren't changing, but what this could really be used for is you could go on here, if you had it running, which you probably won't, you could go on here and you could say, I want to buy, I don't know how the stock market works, I want to buy 3 shares of Nestle. And then you could buy 3 shares of Nestle. And then 2 days later, let's say Nestle has an epic run in the market. It just springs ahead. I don't know the right terms for this. It bowls, I guess, maybe. It just bowls the other stocks right over, and it's like worth 80 times what you paid for it or something. Then you could go on here and you could click the sell button, and then this arbitrary money value, which doesn't actually mean anything, would be higher than $50, which would be just about the coolest thing ever. And so if you were consistent at this, you could steadily build this meaningless number into an incredibly huge meaningless number, and possibly even break the integer overflow, which would be really funny, and I hope that happens someday. What this could really be used for is you can go on here and you can learn how to play the market, as it were, how to make small investments at good times and then sell them off at good times, really hone your market skills, and then maybe when you're ready, you can go onto the real market and actually do some stuff. Make some real money instead of fake money. Personally, I like fake money because I have more of it, but that is immaterial. So yeah, looks really cool. Now, what you're wondering is, how does it work? Well, maybe you're not wondering that, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So, the way Django works is you have these things called templates, It's like a template is an HTML file. You know about HTML files. They're just like files with HTML in them. They have these HTML files, and then you have these special symbols that are like, maybe that's too far. They're like bracket, percent sign, and then you put these special words in them, or actually this is the wrong one. If we go over here, then we can have bracket, bracket, money, closing bracket, and that is where Django, these HTML files, they exist independently of Django. I could probably render this, except you'd end up with a bunch of brackets in the output because HTML doesn't know what to do with those. But fortunately, Django does. When it sees these brackets and this word money, then it's like, oh, okay, so if I have a variable money, then I can insert this other value into it and put it there. It's like a placeholder, you might say. And I can tell you as a fact, actually, this money placeholder is where I keep this money. It's dynamically changed based on how much money I have in the database, and I use these placeholders to update it. Pretty cool. And so how this website essentially works, I have this layout.html, and it's just a basic thing. It has my nav bar, then it has this class body content, and then I have this little block here, and then I have a footer. And this block is really cool because then I can go to, for example, my cstocks.html, and I can say extends pyjama-portfolio / layout.html, and then it goes into this layout, and when it sees these blocks, like block title, then instead of just saying, aha, a block, I don't know what to do with that, then it's like, I know how to deal with that block now. I'm going to insert this text into that block, in this case, see them stocks. Same goes for this body content, or the block content. And so I can, with these templates, as long as I have extends up here, I could put literally anything based off of this layout. And for a website this simple, that's not a huge benefit, but if you had like a really big website, then that could be incredibly helpful and save you a lot of time. In fact, I wish that just regular HTML could do that, because it's really, really useful. So I have these various HTML templates, and then the actual code happens in views. Now, I don't really know anything about how you're supposed to structure a Django web app, so I just put everything in the views.py folder, the views file. So I have all these ugly import statements. They import the stuff I need, including the Python wrapper with my API key. Actually, I probably shouldn't show that. Don't want other people to use my API key that I got for free. That'd just be the worst. And so how these views work is that a view gets called when you go to that part of the website. So, and the different parts of the website are defined in the URLs. So, for example, the stock search path, as it's called, if I go to the stock search directory on the website, then it will look for views.stocksearch and name equals stock_search. I don't actually know what this does, but it's required, so I put it there. And it calls this function, stock search. And this function, it does a whole bunch of stuff actually, but what it does essentially is it renders it puts in the placeholders that the HTML template needs to run, and it also contains the code for interacting with, like, buying stocks or pretending to buy stocks and querying the API to see what the stock price is. And it returns these renders to tell the website what it's supposed to do and what it should do in various situations. And the buy stock is just the same. Or you navigate to various areas in your server, various folders, and then the code will be executed based on what you define in these views. And then this is some top level stuff about how the project and server works. I don't actually know what any of this does, but it's probably really important. So yeah, that is a brief rundown of how a Django web application works, specifically this one. Oh yeah, leaving my refactor comments. Real professional there. That's how you know I'm a developer in the making. And so, yeah, that's the works. The GitHub repo is linked in the description, although I don't think it will be very helpful because you kind of have to have a virtual environment and Django installed for this to run. But it will be there nonetheless in case you are interested in poking around in my code, finding the flaws, and making fun of my syntax and variable names. Just in case you have a rainy afternoon, don't have anything better to do, you can go ahead and do that. So, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, good job. I kind of rambled a lot in this video, but thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for another epic video in about 2 weeks, and bye.